So if you just press that button again once.
I don't know.
Started. As you can tell, I'm not Mike Schreiner, so I'm here to introduce him. Thanks, everyone. My name is Carolina. I am currently the Young Greens co-chair and will continue to do that role for the upcoming year. I'm fairly new to the party. I joined last year when I was looking for a light and breezy volunteering opportunity, and I became the candidate for my riding. For those of you who have been candidates, you'll know that it's very time consuming and draining. I was definitely overwhelmed at first, and I first met Mike the day the writ dropped in 2022. He seemed like a cool guy, or as cool as you can be with a name on the car that you're driving. And as a candidate in Newmarket Aurora, I had very limited green presence in my riding. So being there and meeting him was really energizing, and it got me ready to go for that campaign. Since, every conversation I've had with Mike has reminded me of that initial feeling that I had. If you've had the privilege of speaking with Mike, you will immediately notice the kindness and empathy that emanates off of him. His vast knowledge of all things green is always inspiring, and I would never challenge him to a trivia night. His commitment for advocating for the green belt, for the housing crisis, for climate justice, and for a future for people like me, a young person, is always really inspiring. And he continues to do that for us. Since our first meeting, I've had the pleasure of attending various events with Mike, even here in Kitchener, and I've also run into him as a student and a constituent of Guelph. I've witnessed his dedication to growing the GPO, and as we know, we have a very promising candidate here in Kitchener, and he has continued to show that dedication for Aisling Clancy, who will be our next MPP. Mike, thank you for your continued support since being our leader since 2009. And without further ado, the man of the hour, the leader of our party, Mike Schreiner.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. I still am so amazed you came down. Hey, Doug, good to see you. Eric, good to see you. Hey, it's good to see you. Great to see you. Thank you. That was very kind.
Merci beaucoup, Carolina. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis ravi d'être à Kitchener avec vous tous cette année. Nous sommes plus forts ensemble. I can't tell you how great it is to be here with all of you. Your energy, your enthusiasm, and your passion are what makes this weekend so special. A big shout out to Jamie and the GPO team for organizing a fantastic weekend, bringing us all together right here in Kitchener. There's nothing like a room full of greens coming together to tell stories, to talk strategy, and to talk about how we can build an Ontario that is caring, connected, and climate ready. Over the past year, it's been your energy, your enthusiasm, your commitment to our movement, and your values that has kept me going. It's what has forced Doug Ford to finally face the music on his trail of Greenbelt Live. It's what has forced him to listen to the people of Ontario and to reverse his broken promise to open the Greenbelt for development. And it's your commitment that is going to lead to electing Ashland Clancy as the next Green MPP for Kitchener Center. Ashland, Ashland, absolutely. Ashland, 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 Ashland. Over the past year, Greens have been fighting harder than ever to protect the people and places we love in this province. All across Ontario, we have worked with thousands and thousands of people, knocking on doors, signing petitions, putting up signs, and doing everything we can to deliver a message to Doug Ford to keep his hands off the Greenbelt. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your commitment to the people of Ontario, for you standing up for what's right for the people of this province, putting people before party and politics every step of the way. Thank you for keeping the movement alive for so many months in the cold, in the heat, when it felt like people were not listening to us. Greens never wavered in standing up for what is right for the people of this province. And it's that dedication, the truth, it's that has forced the premier to come face to face with millions and millions of people across this province telling him to do the right thing. That is what people power looks like. That is what people power and action can accomplish. And that is what the green movement is all about. You know, over the last year, our team at Queen's Park has been laser focused on showing how we can push the premier to keep his Greenbelt promise, and we can build homes that people can actually afford in the communities they want to live in. And that's exactly why our team has put forward homes in the communities people want to live in, showing that we don't, between the economy and the environment, we don't have to choose between building and protecting the Greenbelt. And the solutions we've put forward, like hands off the Greenbelt Act to ban Greenbelt land swaps forever, so this never happens again. Bills like no highways in the Greenbelt Act, so we say no to Highway 430. Bills like Bill 44 and Bill 45 that says we can build more homes where we have servicing, where we can build. Those are the solutions that point a way forward to an affordable Ontario that protects the places. Put forward housing solutions that people have called a masterclass plan to increase market and non-market supply, to help renters and to get spec, because homes should be for people, not speculators. Government actually get back involved in building deeply affordable nonprofit and co-op housing, something that the province or the federal government hasn't done since the mid-1990s. And the crisis has only been getting worse. But I want to tell you that the fight to protect our farmland, spaces, our forests, in Waterloo region, where Doug Ford farmland. And I call home, not breaking all the rules and rolling out the red carpet so a handful of wealthy, elite, well-connected Ford speculators can cash in $8.3 billion, while so many people don't even have a home in this province. We will keep pushing back to protect our farmland because that's our food security. We will continue to push back and protect our wetlands and our moraines and our forests, because that's our clean drinking water. We will keep pushing back. We can't afford to continue losing 319 acres of farmland each and every day. We've already lost 75% of our wetlands in Southern Ontario. And so Doug Ford has repeatedly called the Greenbelt a field of weeds, a scam, put together by a bunch of staffers with crayons. Well, I can tell you the only scam was Doug Ford's plan to pave it all over to help a handful of his buddies cash in $8.3 billion. I know the people of Ontario are smarter than that.
And we cannot allow his reversal this past week to be a get out of jail free card for the scandal he's imposed on the people of this province. So I need your help to keep up this fight. I need your help to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. And that's exactly why the Ontario Greens are calling for an independent public inquiry into this Greenbelt scandal. And that's why we need to send a clear message to Doug Ford by electing Ashland Clancy as the next MPP for Kitchener Center. Ashland, 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 Ashland. You're all amazing. You know that, right? There you go. All right. All right. There is no secret that times are tough right now, eh? People are struggling in our communities. Everywhere you look, life is becoming more challenging and more expensive. Basic necessities like food and housing prices are getting out of reach for far too many Ontarians. Healthcare, so many people waiting to access healthcare service. We have far too many parents working 2-3 jobs and still having to access food banks in order to feed their families. People with disabilities are still being forced to live in legislated poverty in this province.
Got that right.
Tent cities are popping up here in Kitchener and in communities all across Ontario.
Yeah.
We have too many loved ones stuck on waiting lists, trying to access surgeries and diagnostics because the Ford government is underfunding our healthcare system and disrespecting nurses and other frontline healthcare workers. We have entire communities being evacuated and people breathing toxic air due to the forest fires that swept across the north this summer.
Yep.
And housing costs continue to skyrocket. So people like my 2 daughters are wondering if they'll ever be able to afford a home. Far too many people are having to travel until they qualify for a mortgage or find an apartment they can afford to rent. So it's clear to me that we are not only facing a climate crisis, we're facing a crisis in caring. And we need to elect MPPs who are going to reverse that. That's why we need more Greens at Queen's Park to fight for what people need in their everyday lives, an affordable place to live in a community they want to live in, a healthcare system with enough funding and fairly paid staff to properly care for us and our loved ones, safe schools with smaller class sizes and wages that attract and retain teachers, clean air and locally grown food, good green jobs that are going to help us prosper in the new green economy, a social safety net that provides a livable income for everybody in this province. Right now, we're at a turning point. It's clear. It's clear the path that got us here is broken. It's clear that the status quo parties have failed to deliver the solutions that people need in our communities right now. Half measures and band-aids won't provide the solutions we need. The politics of division and hyper-partisanship will not work. And so I want to say to the people of Ontario, let's choose a new path. Let's choose a green path that is hopeful and better and serves ordinary people and everyone in our communities. Let's choose a path where everyone has an affordable place to call home, where communities are built for people, not speculators, where we have a choice of housing solutions that work for everyone from renters and first-time home buyers to growing families and seniors who want to downsize, where government finally gets back into building nonprofit and co-op housing that's deeply affordable. Communities where everyone has access to timely mental health care that's affordable and accessible when they need it. Communities with affordable childcare, inclusive and safe schools where all students, including trans and queer students, have a safe place to go. Communities where nurses and teachers can actually afford to live in the community they work in. Communities without systemic racism or legislated poverty due to the woefully inadequate ODSP rates. Communities with clean air and water where everyone has access to public parks and green spaces, where we protect our farmland and wetlands. In Ontario, powered by renewables, a government powered by people. Together, we can build that Ontario. As Greens, it's our responsibility to work hard and fight for it. By standing up for ordinary people and putting forward bold solutions like our Greenbelt bills that will protect our farmland and our wetlands and our forests and our moraines. Solutions like our $2 billion a year climate adaptation fund that will help municipalities protect infrastructure and people's lives, livelihoods, and property. Now is the time. Now is the time to supercharge Ontario's economy with new careers and better, good union jobs in the new climate economy. You know, last year, for the first time ever, renewables outpaced oil and gas investment. Investors, yeah, go ahead. Investors poured $1.1 trillion into the clean economy. Most of that actually going to renewable energy. And yet we have a government right now that's actively hostile to these affordable, clean, good paying jobs that deliver climate solutions. So I want each and every one of you this weekend to think about the world that you want to live in, the legacy that you want to leave for your children, your grandchildren, your loved ones in the next 7 generations. Greens are already providing the leadership we need, but we need all hands on deck to get there. And it starts right here in Kitchener Center by electing Ashland Clancy. We can double our impact. Imagine that. We can double our impact at Queen's Park. I want you to think a moment about what one Green MPP with a fantastic team has accomplished. In 2018, when Doug Ford presented his first legislative attempt to open the Greenbelt for development through Bill 66, we were the first to call it out, and we led the pushback until he retreated. In 2019, we passed the first green bill in Ontario history, making it illegal to block an EV charging station. In 2020, we pushed the government to support small businesses during the worst of the COVID lockdowns and petitioned the government successfully to open community gardens so people could grow their own food. In 2021, we delivered what many have called a masterclass plan in delivering the housing solutions we need. And imagine if it was the Ford government had actually stole it from us, like I told them they could, instead of trying to open the Greenbelt for development. What a better position we would be in. Also in 2021, we organized the first bill in Ontario history to pass the legislature that was co-sponsored by all 4 political parties at Queen's Park. In 2022, during the provincial election, we put forward such bold solutions on housing and ending legislative poverty by doubling ODSP rates that we had the other parties literally updating their platforms in real time to keep up with the Ontario Greens. And in 2023, we stood shoulder to shoulder with thousands and thousands of people across this province and forced Doug Ford to backtrack on his broken promise not to open the Greenbelt for development. Now imagine all that double. What if we doubled that? Can you imagine that? Imagine what we can do with more influence, more power, more green voices at Queen's Park. Electing Ashland is the chance to do that, a chance that's been presented to us. And we need everybody in this room to stand together and to work together to make that happen, because we are stronger together. I've been working closely with Ashland over the last couple of months. Her team is building a winning campaign, fueled by an amazing candidate. If you haven't had a chance to meet her yet, fueled by an amazing candidate with compassion, commitment, and the heart to take on the climate crisis, the caring crisis, and the housing affordability crisis to benefit her neighbors in Kitchener Center. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, please. Couldn't imagine a better representative for Kitchener Center. Ashland is a leader and a community builder with a bold vision of how Kitchener Center can be a caring, connected, climate-ready city. She's a parent, a social worker, a city councilor, but most of all, she's just a really kind person who's going to pour her heart and soul into serving the people of this community and being a strong voice for everyone in this room. Let me tell you, I've never seen a campaign quite like what's happening in Kitchener Center right now. We don't even know when the election day is. Like seriously, we don't know when the election day is. She was the first candidate nominated, the first campaign to open an office, the first campaign to literally knock on every single door in this riding already. So when we go out there today, we'll be hitting doors for the second time. And she already has as many sign requests on private property than I did in my entire winning election in 2018. So today, I need your help to make it happen. I want to be a part of the biggest canvas in Green Party history today. That's what we're going to do today in Kitchener Center. And I can tell you, this is what you're going to find. So I've been knocking on doors for months now with Ashland. We've been listening. And here's what people are telling us. They want change. They know the status quo isn't working for them. They want to send a message to Doug Ford that we need more caring, that we need climate action, that we need real solutions to the housing affordability crisis. That's what Ashland is hearing, and that is what Ashland is going to deliver for the people of Kitchener Center. So I need you, even after today, to keep knocking on doors, helping fundraise, participating in calling parties, and helping us move the needle, talking to your friends, family, and coworkers, convincing people to be a part of this special campaign. I can tell you it takes hundreds and hundreds of volunteers to win an election. In Greens, let's be honest, we have to work harder than everyone else. But we saw what happened with Mike Morris.
Yeah.
And we have seen what Mike Morris has delivered for Kitchener Center. So we know Greens can win Kitchener Center if we put the work in and we are there with a clear message that we are here to work for you, not for some political party at Queen's Park, for you, the people of Kitchener Center. That's what Ashland is delivering. So people have told us at the doors that the time for green in this riding is now. The time to have another green voice is now. The time for green values is now. The time for hopeful, positive green solutions is now. And that's what Ashland Clancy is going to deliver. And that's exactly why I want Ashland Clancy to come up on this stage and join me. Just like you're going to join me at Queen's Park. Here we go.
And thank you to Mike. He has legitimately been here since the beginning, knocking on doors and showing up because he sees how much this matters to the people of Ontario and this party. So thank you so much, Mike. And thanks to all of you. There's so many people out here who have been pitching in, and so many people who come from far away from all parts of the province. Raise your hand if you drove more than an hour and a half to get here today. Depending on traffic, right? Thank you so much. And thank you to the GPO. Honestly, we couldn't be a better match. I can't imagine being part of any of the other parties because their way of doing business just doesn't feel authentic. You know, I get to go to the doors and say that this is what we do is we show up, we look people in the eye, we listen to them, and we make a good connection about what really matters to them. And that's how we form our policies in our party. So thank you guys. I'm so humbled. This is very surreal. But you know, I think we all have our reasons for being here. You know, every one of us could be somewhere else at this very moment. It's a Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday outside. You know, you could be working in the garden. You could be out with friends or family. You could be going to a restaurant or doing some work, going anywhere else, but you chose to come here today. And I think each of us has that nugget, that seed inside of us, that little gem that is the purpose that we find and that calls us to be here. I kind of have a renewed purpose all the time because I get to do this work, which is a real privilege. It really is. Not everybody has the privilege to just quit their job as a school social worker with a pension and vacation because they really feel called. So thank you, but we have that purpose and we do have privilege to be here, to have this time to be together. For me, you know, I think we've all had that moment where we're like, oh my gosh, you know, our leaders keep doing the wrong thing for the planet. I can't believe they just can't canceled all the wind turbine contracts. I can't believe they canceled funding for a gal. I can't believe they fired the child and youth advocate, you know, the lawyer for young people in care. I can't believe, and I think we've been saying that since Ford took office in 2018. And I think that's part of why it rubs against the thing that we love and that matters to us. I want that low-income person on ODSP to have enough money to pay the rent and feed themselves and eat. And that's because of the canvas. I bumped into a gentleman, he's got his tiny home takeout. We have this beautiful program locally in Kitchener where we do takeout every day for low-income folks. They get, and you pay what you can. It's beautiful. But I met this gentleman, he's carrying all this food, and I'm like, oh, hey, how are you doing? You know, I'm part of a campaign and I just wanted to connect with you. And he said, you know, I eat takeout so that I can pay for the air conditioner because I have COPD and I would be very sick on these extreme heat days. So, and he said, I feel bad for the people in my building because on OW, even if you eat at the food bank, you can't buy that air conditioner to keep yourself cool. So climate justice is saving lives. And that's what we put on our agenda every time we show up to do politics. Those are the stories that we bring with us to Queen's Park. I also think of all the young people. I've been a school social worker for 11 years. I am sick and tired of listening to parents say to me, I didn't send my kid to school because I don't have anything to put in their lunch. My check doesn't come till Wednesday. I'm sick and tired of being there to hold the vulnerability of young people and caregivers who are burnt out from COVID, struggling with mood and poverty, looming evictions, coming out, you know, that vulnerable journey. We need to create safe spaces, but we need to address these systemic issues that Doug Ford just doesn't understand at all. And he's increasing it. You know, when we go door to door, affordability is number one. People feel the burden and the weight of the greed that consumes our society. It's in our housing markets with speculators. I have two buildings in my complex, in my ward. One is a complex of low-income folks. They're like four bedroom units with intergenerational families, newcomers, folks on ODSP, folks with disabilities, and they're getting bullied out of their units. We rallied with them with eviction prevention, a grassroots organization with legal counsel to make sure that they weren't given a raw deal and left out on the street because of high rents causing more tents. But that kind of speculation is driving more and more people into tents, and that's what our Green Party believes in. We're not here for our, you know, wealthy friends. We're here because we see the need in our communities. That when we all do better, you know, Ontario is better. So thank you. That's my why. And as a mother, I really want my kids to have a place to live and a livable planet because they and everybody in Ontario deserves that. But when we are going out door to door, we have to share that why with every voter at every door. They're going to say, what can Greens do? You have one person in Queen's Park. You're never going to make it. It's not going to happen. You can't win. And the NDP of all the parties is the one out there telling that story, putting fear in the hearts of people at Kitchener Centre that if they vote Green, it's a vote for the Conservatives. This is a by-election. We can put that strategic voting aside, and we don't need to convince people that we will win. We are going to do it anyway, just in case. We're going to go to every door. I tell our winning story at every door. They say, you can't make it. I say, watch me. I betcha if the Rick gets called on election day and you don't believe it, that we can win, go ahead, vote for somebody else. but we have done all the groundwork. I've never seen a party that works harder than we do to make sure we connect with every voter. We win them over not just once, twice, 3 times through a social media post, through a sign wave, through a phone call, through a knock on the door. By the time it comes to vote, I don't think they're going to know anybody else's name but mine. And maybe some of them will know how to say it properly. So thank you. Thank you. And it's all because of you. I am the face of this. I know there's things I can do. Thanks to my dad, who's a salesman, who said, go talk to strangers every day growing up. It seemed. You know, I can do this, but I need all of you. And this is not just me. It really has to be all of us. And what we are going to do today when we go to those doors is that we can win and we will win.
Yeah.
The NDP is going to try to scare them off voting for us. The PCs are going to try to wear us down by having to vote maybe in February. Exactly. We got people power, right? Yeah. So I want all of you to get up and get ready to canvass today. I want you to get up on your feet. And this is to the campaign team. This is a big cheer to all the folks at our campaign office. We have the most awesome, fun, hardworking, dedicated, talented group, and partnered with the GPO and everybody in this room. We are an unstoppable force. So please get on your feet. I'm going to pass it over to Maureen, my amazing, best campaign manager I can ask for.
All right, so Ashlyn is totally right. We are going to be doing some canvassing this afternoon. So I did a little bit of math, and I think we have the potential to reach about 6,000 voters in the next 3 hours.